as you can see, I'm ready for this video. Like, can we just talk about this? Can we just, okay, what's going on under here is none of y'all business. That's all I gotta say. But still look good.
Nope. That's right.
What's good, everyone? How y'all doing? What is sizzling? It's your fave frustrated creator, Shirley, signing in for another video. Welcome back. How y'all doing? What is up? Thank you so much for your support over my videos. Like, my goodness, that last video, y'all are really taking it by storm. Thank you so much. I appreciate each and every one of you. Thank you. If you're new to my channel, hi, hello, hola, my name is Shole, and this is my creative entertainment channel where I post social, cultural, and movie commentary. Now let's just jump into this video. I've been wanting to do this Soul review for a while now, but I've delayed it for some reason because I felt like I needed more time, I needed to do more research, but now I am here with a Soul movie review for y'all. So let's just jump into it. Now here is a quick synopsis of this film. The jazz pianist named Ray, voiced by Jamie Foxx, had a near-death experience and gets stuck in the afterworld after discovering he was about to achieve his lifelong dream of playing in an established jazz band with the great legend Dorothea Williams, who was voiced by Angela Bassett. However, back at the job he was working at occasionally, he was offered a full-time position and he was questioning to take it. He was left contemplating his life choices and regretting the existence that he mostly took for granted. Three main elements I'm going to be focusing on this movie review is Midlife Crisis, Spark, and Second Chances, where I'll be describing the plot, different characters that come into play, and what we can grab from this film. Number one, Midlife Crisis. Now, the main character, Ray, was going through a midlife crisis, not knowing about his existence or why he should continue living to a certain degree, and no help to his mother at all, who literally pushed him towards having a more stable lifestyle. And come to think of it, that's what she had to go through with his own father. He had dreams to become this amazing jazz player, but she had to settle down being the seamstress who actually brought all the income into the house. This concept was also prevalent when Ray escaped the great beyond and got into the great before, meeting 22 as being her mentor by mistake. He ended up going through his catalog in life and seeing how unsatisfied and sad and depressing his life was, to the point where he felt as though there was no reason to live. Now, I thought this was a very peculiar element because for young children, they wouldn't really understand this concept as they're still starting off life, and for this being an animated film, Pixar film, you would expect there to be more softer elements. But I thought this was a really amazing way to target an older audience. For instance, people who are in their 30s, 40s, and 50s to enjoy this kind of concept and make them look into their own lives and see how they are probably in a midlife crisis right now. Next up, we have the idea of Spark. Spark really came up in conversation when it came to 22, who was voiced by Anna Faye. Now, 22 was stuck in the great before for so long, having all kinds of mentors and not really having a spark to live life, to want to go into the real world, until she ended up meeting Ray. 22 and Ray had such a big dynamic to the point where you could see their friendship kind of building to the point where they even got into this zone area, where you would see people who had many various talents get into this euphoric trance where they were able to do certain things at certain times when their talents or when their abilities were engaged, and how easily tripped out they can be. But this was also the zone where lost souls would be, being obsessed, depressed, and knocked down from life. And anything can change at any instant for those lost souls to also get that spark of life again. 22 and Ray being in that zone met peculiar characters who helped them kind of get into their own zone and get Ray back into his body. However, in Ray getting into his body, he ended up getting into a cat, and 22 ended up getting into Ray's body, which led them into many various experiences as Ray needed to go ahead and perform in the jazz band. From going back to his home, 22 coaching a child, getting his hair cut, meeting his mom, all those things really made 22 think, maybe this is the life for me. However, this became a really sticky situation when Ray and 22 needed to get their bodies back. Ray needed his body in order to actually perform, and 22 needed to go back home to the great beyond. And that wasn't cutting it for her. She managed to try to run away, but ended up getting captured by the agents trying to get them back into the great beyond. When the mix-up was finally settled and Ray was able to get back into his body, 22 ended up wandering back into the zone where lost souls are housed. And you might think, yes, she didn't actually have a body, but she lived before. So she ended up becoming a lost soul who ended up roaming around, feeling like her life was meaningless. She couldn't do anything. Coincidentally, Ray ended up going ahead to play in the jazz band and being able to live his lifelong dream, but afterwards felt empty and lost. And this quote that came from the movie from Dorothea Williams, who was voiced by Angela Bassett, really struck a chord, and I'll quickly read it. So Dorothea Williams says to Joe, "I heard this story about a fish. He swims up to the older fish and says, 'I'm trying to find that thing they call the ocean.' 'The ocean,' the older fish says, 'that's what you're in right now.'" The quote goes a little longer, but that just gives you a quick idea of what she was trying to say. And from this idea, spark, it really makes us sit down and think. Is your spark in life the dreams and the ideas you have, or simply just living life to the best of your ability? Ray was trying to chase this big dream all his life, but for what? Just to do it over again? Your ideas in life, or what your life should be, shouldn't be your spark. Because every single day we're living in different experiences. We're going through different situations that are building us every day. So why should one idea of what you think your life should be the pinnacle of your existence? A spark is what drives you to move forward. But why should your spark be from one thing that can happen only once and you'll never get it back again? So you can do it again and it loses its meaning? I felt that this point was very big, especially for us creatives, as when we go ahead and try different things and do different things and have this one I made it moment, after you've made it, what next? After you have that one big experience that you've been working your whole life for, what next? And it really made me sit down and think and say, I shouldn't just be basking on one big moment and work so hard for it just to be dissatisfied afterwards. Did y'all hear that, dog? Okay. I should be able to have a spark from just living life. Living and breathing every day is such a concept we take for granted. I feel like, especially the way I was raised, we always kind of gave reverence to God to thank Him for giving us another day to breathe. We're not in the hospital, we're not sick, there's no broken bones, and we're able to live freely. And just understanding that makes you want to live life even more, even after you've made your mistakes. And then that's why my last element is second chances. When Ray realizes that he has taken his life for granted, and him being that cat, he was able to see 22 in his body, living the life that he took for granted in such a beautiful way. He was able to see that life is actually all you make it, and not waiting for a certain point in time to make you happy. When Ray finally got into his trance point, you know, that euphoric trance where all of us creatives or people who enjoy certain things get into and we're the most creative, yeah, that point. He got into that mind frame and was able to travel back to see 22, not knowing that 22 turned into this big maniac who got obsessed and depressed with life. He finally was able to get a hold of her and made her realize that she had a life to live. Her life is meaningful and she's an amazing soul. They finally got to reconnect again, and she finally went ahead to go into Earth, and he was on his way to the great beyond. However, that's usually the time where you get your second chances when you've made mistakes. And he realized he made a mistake. And once he got his second chance, he lived life like he never lived it before. It makes me ponder, why do we always wait to the point of death or near-death experiences before we really value life? Before we really go ahead and do the things we're supposed to be doing? Why do we gotta wait till there's no breath in our lungs before we realize that we should have taken life more seriously when we had air in our lungs? It's really interesting, and I feel like it really shows us that your near-death experiences shouldn't bring you to that point. It should be people around you, the situations you get into, the experiences that you get into that should help you wake yourself back to life, not when you're in the hospital bed. I thought this movie was beautifully told. I cried a couple times, not even gonna lie, and I watched it multiple times. It was able to connect people of different demographics, different ages, and different life stories, just to make us remember that we should take advantage of life no matter what. Your dreams and your goals are always valid, but don't hold on to it to such a point where that's the only reason why you're living. Live because you have the chance to live, not because there's something you're trying to get to. Although the movie was amazing, I have to nitpick it just a little bit. Number one, the new age spirituality. It just felt so, how can I put this? Childlike. It didn't feel like it had any basis to the reason why it was going ahead with that storyline. Just a whole bunch of spirit-like people were going ahead to assign who's insecure and who's self-absorbed with their life, the great beyond, the great before. Maybe because I'm Christian, I just didn't, or maybe I'm the only one, but just that part was really, but it was fun. It was funny. I'm not gonna lie, but I just felt it was very like childlike. I thought they could expand more and make it a little bit more different, in my personal opinion. Number two, why does Disney and Pixar always do this? When they ever have POC or black characters, they always take this heroic look or turn for them, and majority of the time in the movies, they're not even humans. They take other forms. Tiana, she was a frog for literally 80 to 90% of the movie. Like, why don't they ever get to experience human life experiences being a human? Ray was a cat and a soul more than he was actually human. I'm just asking. It's not like I'm mad or I'm cheesed or whatever. I'm just trying to figure out, why is that the case? Yeah, I'm gonna need them to have their own separate movies again, where they're actually just humans experiencing life, just being themselves, not always making this a heroic climax standpoint for them all the time, that they're allowed to just live their lives without always having to play the hero in someone else's story. If you think about it, Tiana was a hero in Naveen's story. Ray was a hero in 22's story, before he could be a hero in his own story. But just a thought, I'm just saying. But overall, this film was beautifully done, and I hope they do more like this in the future. It really reminds me of Inside Out with their concept and everything, and Inside Out made me cry too. If you want me to do a review on Inside Out, let me know, because that's one of my favorite movies from Pixar up to date. Oh, actually, I lied. The Toy Story series, that was also really good too. But yeah, let me know down below if there's any other movie reviews you'd like me to do. Hopefully Pixar really expands on these kind of movies that make us go into bigger, more diverse topics and allows people of different demographics to explain these kind of concepts to children so they understand them at a young age, so they don't find themselves with midlife crisis, trying to find themselves in a spark and trying to take second chances. Now we've reached to the end of my video. Thank you so much for watching if you've gotten this far. If you liked this video, please like down below. If you didn't like this video, let me know why you didn't like it. And let us start a conversation down below. If you'd like to follow any of my other social media sites, they're on the side. Thank you so much for watching. And remember, God made you special and He loves you very much. And you can do anything you set your mind to with Christ, of course. All right, peace.
You know what I'm talking about? Bring it back.